Hello, and welcome to the Kick It with Katie podcast. As always, I'm your host, Katie Colliker. Today, I have Jonah Knubel with me. Say hi, Jonah.
Hi, everyone.
And today's segment is just going to be some of your questions that you have for players. So, first question I have for Jonah. Outside of team practices and games, how often did you train on your own?
It's a good question. When I was younger, I would say it was more. So when I was around like 12 to from like age like 12 to 15. Well, no, when I was really little, I was practicing every single day. So like right when I started around like 4 years old up until I was like 10 or whatever, I would say I was probably in the backyard training like every single day. And then as I got older and it was a little more difficult with school and stuff like that, I would still train on my own a fair amount. I would go with my brother often. So until like then I would say like 11 to like 14 years old, I was still going probably 3 to 4 days a week and training on my own. And then it was a little bit less as I entered like my main teenage years. It was still probably like 2 to 3 days a week training on my own, but just not as much because priorities change for people, I guess, and stuff like that.
Were you involved in any other extracurricular activities other than soccer?
Yeah, I was. Senior year of high school, I was the kicker for my high school football team, and that was lots of fun. Obviously, it translated well from soccer because a lot of kickers are soccer players, and I did really good with it. It was really fun. I made a lot of great friends doing that too. So, yeah, that was really fun. And I played, stuff like basketball for fun with friends, things like that, and like a few academic things that I was involved with, like DECA. That's kind of like a business school club type thing. So, yeah, lots of other things.
How did you juggle school, soccer? Did you have a job, your social life as things intensify as you get older and you're traveling and spending so much time with the team? How did you balance and kind of juggle that out?
Yeah, that's another good question. So it gets really tough for people, and it kind of comes down to just what's most important to you. I thought I did a pretty good job. I did a good enough job to keep me happy in all areas because I still got to go out and spend time with friends, which was important to me. I loved having a social life and stuff like that. I did have a part-time job as well. Just during my junior and senior year of high school, I worked at a golf course, and the hours weren't too terrible, so that wasn't too big of a deal. I would just set my schedule accordingly to soccer and, when weekends were and stuff like that for hanging out with friends. So that wasn't too tough. And then soccer, it was pretty much just like any free time I had, I would go play. But yeah, honestly, it's personal preference, and you just kind of have to ask yourself as a young player what's most important to you. If you want to try and make it all the way with soccer, then like, yeah, you're going to have to make some sacrifices and not spend as much time with friends or a job or other things like that. But if you just love the sport, then that's great too. You just juggle things according to what's most important to you, like I said.
Last question. Was there ever a time that you thought about quitting soccer seriously? I know sometimes people have like a bad game or bad tournament and, they kind of want to throw in the towel, but they're not super serious
hmm
about it. But was there ever a time that you had considered quitting? And if so, what kept you going?
I wish I could say yes and give like a good, cool answer, but honestly, no. I don't think I ever really even thought about stopping. I just love the sport too much, and then like whatever obstacle I hit in the road or whatever, I was like, well, I'll find a way around it. Everyone has people around them that can support them and do things for them that they need to be done in order to keep going. And I was like, everything will be fine. I'm just gonna keep playing the sport I love while I can. So yeah, I don't think I ever really thought about quitting.
And then these are my questions. These are just two quick, easy questions. Who is your favorite soccer team, like your team that you always root for? And then also on the same note, who is your favorite player?
Easy. So my favorite team has and always will be Bayern Munich. That's always just been from the beginning because my family has some German roots, and I just started rooting them from a very young age. And my favorite players, one of the players who made me love that team as well, Bastian Schweinsteiger, German midfield maestro. He's one of the best to do it. Number 7 for the national team, number 31 for Bayern. He's one of the most precise players I've ever seen. And one of the things I love about him is he's so good, but he doesn't have like all the highlights you see like of players that are more strikers like Neymar or Messi or Ronaldo, which are obviously the best players in the world, but all their highlights are, you know, goals and stuff like that. And Schweinsteiger could take over a game just by controlling the midfield, and his calmness and his leadership is really what shined for him. So yeah, he will always be my favorite player.
Awesome. Okay, well, that's all I have for you today. So if you guys have any questions for future guests, make sure you send me an email or find me on Instagram. Jonah, thank you for jumping on today to answer your guys' questions.
Absolutely. I loved being here.
Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at kickitwithkatie_podcast between all the words. You can reach out to me with questions at kickitwithkatiepod@gmail.com. I also have a feature with SpeakPipe where you can leave me your own voicemail message if you want to be featured on the podcast. Rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.